A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark, chapter 7, verses 14 to 23. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. Jesus called the crowd together again and said, "Listen now, all of you. Take this to heart. It's not what you swallow that pollutes your life. It's what you vomit. That's the real pollution." When he was back home after being with the crowd, his disciples said, "We don't get it. Put it in plain language." Jesus said, "Are you being willfully stupid? Don't you see that what you swallow can't contaminate you? It doesn't enter your heart, but your stomach, works its way through the intestines and finally flushed." That took care of dietary quibbling. Jesus was saying that all foods are fit to eat. He went on, "It's what comes out of a person that pollutes. Obscenities, lusts, thefts, murders, adulteries, greed, depravity, deceptive dealings, carousing, mean looks, slander, arrogance, foolishness. All these are vomit from the heart. There is the source of your pollution." The Gospel of the Lord. Reflections on the Gospel according to Mark chapter 7 verses 14 to 23. Where does evil come from, and is there a solution for eliminating it from our lives? While addressing the issue of impurities arising from neglecting the traditional rituals, Jesus focuses on the human heart, the abode of all choices, either good or bad. The religious leaders taught the people to observe the laws mostly out of fear of punishment of God. Ritual purity had nothing to do with hygiene. Instead, it was meant to save the chosen people of Yahweh from any contact with anything that was touched by pagans, non-Jews, or unclean animals. The creation story in the book of Genesis told us yesterday that God created everything, and He saw that everything that He created was good. But the religious leaders later on interpreted that some people and some animals were unclean, and any physical contact with them would make one impure. Do our religious observances, prayers, and even attending Mass arise out of fear of God's punishment? If we go to Mass to fulfill the days of obligation, how are we any different from the religious scholars of Jesus' time? Jesus points his listeners to the source of true defilement. Evil desires which come from a person's thoughts and intentions. When Cain was jealous of his brother Abel, God warned him to guard his heart. Sin is couching at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must master it. Do you allow any sinful desires to couch at your door? We do not need to entertain or succumb to sinful desires or thoughts, but instead, through the grace of God, we can choose to put them to death rather than allow them to have mastery over us. The Lord is ready to transform and purify our hearts through the Holy Spirit who dwells within us. Do you believe in the power of God's love to transform your heart? St. Thomas Aquinas wrote that virtue is the transformation of instinct or passion. Courage and hope, for example, are transformations of aggressive instinct. Love is the transformation of desire. Jesus said, "What matters is not what goes into a person from outside, but what comes out from the inside." In other words, how we transform our experiences. Religion is about the kind of response we make to the world, to others, and to God. It's about whether that wonderful chemistry of the gospel is happening in us. The kind of chemistry that can turn bad stuff into good, curses into blessings, sufferings into prayer.